we met Kaza. Kaza is now Jasper. We met Kaza/Jasper at Loving Hand Veterinary Clinic, Dr. Tommy's place on Leopards Hill Road. And our cat, we have 5 rescue cats. One of them had to have hip surgery. So he had his hip surgery at Dr. Tommy's and he had a complication. So he ended up having to stay at Dr. Tommy's for 7 weeks. He is fine now. But that's how we met Kaza/Jasper when we went there to keep checking in on our cat and bringing him food and whatnot. I think we met him soon after he was brought in because his poor little broken bones were dangling, and Dr. Tommy said, "Oh, come see this dog we just brought in." I thought, "Oh no, I don't want to see, it's too heartbreaking." But yeah, so that's how we met him. Every time we were back and forth to the vet, we would check on his progress, and he would just come and love us, and we would give him some love, and so we're kind of there throughout his whole story. And
yes, so then we're not really dog people. We have 5 cats, and
we love all animals.
He approached us at Dr. Tommy's surgery, and he used to put his head on my leg, and then we used to give him a bit of love, and then we really got to know him.
He knew who he needed to get to love him. So I've never had a dog before. You've never had cats or dogs.
Yeah.
So this is all just a new thing for us, but yeah, he's an absolute love, and cats and dogs can coexist peacefully together.
And he's a very well-behaved dog, and he's very good inside the house.
Very.
And he's very friendly to us and most other people.
Very. He's just been, I think everyone fell in love with him at Cactus and at Dr. Tommy's, and of course we did, because he just, everything he's been through, and he's still been very, very, I don't know, just happy. So, as I said, we've never had a dog before, so we're really unsure how that was going to go. But yeah, he's actually been very easy. I think somebody had trained him at some point before he became a street dog. We asked Dr. Tommy lots of questions before we adopted him, and also Cactus, especially genetic Cactus. So, yeah, I mean, the cats, they come and go, but he's in the house with us, so he's just a constant source of companionship and love, and I don't know, he's filled a little hole that was missing in our lives, maybe?
Yes, and he's a very well-behaved dog. He's actually pretty good on house training, so he will not mess up anything inside the house. You take him out, pees and poops outside. He's he's actually very good inside the house for a stray dog. Quite impressed with that. He's a very friendly dog with us. He loves receiving attention. He loves pets.
He loves my piano students.
Yes, he even comes up here. This is the piano room, which is upstairs. He loves just spending time with Dorie and the piano students.
And I think a lot of people would think that having a special needs dog is much more difficult than, you know, a normal dog, so-called. But he's actually been very easy. I mean, you know, we don't have to worry about him digging up the garden. Or running onto the gate, or...
Well, generally, just running around. He's actually easier that way because he's only got 2 legs. He can't move as quickly. So for us,
yeah, I mean,
it actually, there is that benefit that we can catch up to him fairly easily.
Yeah. He actually, in some ways, requires less care.
Yes.
With his special needs. So anybody thinking about adopting a special needs dog, it's... it can in some ways actually be a little bit easier than having a little boisterous puppy running around the house and running around your yard.
Yes, that's true.
So, as we mentioned before, Jasper's been pretty easy. It's fit in pretty well in our little crazy family. The one thing that was a challenge is we ordered a special wheelchair, wheelie cart, whatever you want to call it, from the US for him. And this we discussed with Dr. Tommy even before we got him. It's quite complicated. You have to do precise measurements and everything. So what people should know is that dogs that are missing their front legs are more difficult than dogs that are missing their back legs. With a back wheel cart, kind of you put the dog in it and off they go. But front legs missing, we had to get a special front wheel cart for him. So we got it from a special company in the US called Eddie's Wheels. They're in Massachusetts in the US. And we worked with them for several weeks, getting the precise measurements, worked with Dr. Tommy, checked and rechecked. And then we had some dear friends who were having family visits, so they actually brought the cart in for us, which was really, really a blessing. Then the fun began, because he did not want to use it at all. So Jasper's trainer, Edgar, takes him about twice a week to go on play dates. He has 6 dogs of his own, so he takes Jasper to go on play dates with his dogs, and they walk around his yard and walk around the neighborhood. Jasper in his wheelchair cart, of course. And so Jasper has 6 little buddies that he hangs out with at least a couple times a week. He's pretty proficient in his wheelchair cart by now. He knows what he's doing. He does some fantastic turns and spins and whatnot. And of course we still use the wheelchair cart at home as well, but for longer walks he likes to go with his buddies. So that's been really helpful.
I think the important thing is they need to see that he can live a fairly normal, healthy life. He's not, just because he doesn't have all 4 legs doesn't mean that his life can't be fulfilling and good for him and for us.
Yeah, he's a very happy dog, and he just brings joy to everybody he meets. Don't you, Laddie? We initially weren't sure what his story was when we met him at Dr. Tommy's, but we found out that Cactus had received a call that this little guy was being abused, I guess in Matero. And thank heavens that Good Samaritan made the call to them, and Cactus went and picked him up, brought him to Dr. Tommy's for treatment. And, just the plight of animals in this country is really, really sad, really difficult. This is why we need places like Cactus to care for these little guys, get them off the street, get spaying and neutering campaigns going, and vaccination programs, and just all of those things that are so important. I think a lot of pet owners here certainly don't have their animals spayed and neutered, which is part of the big problem, the big explosion of street animals.
Animals also have feelings, they also have their own inherent dignity. We need to look after them, and it's a sign of what a good human being you are, I think, if you can look after animals. Yes, people also need to be looked after. There are lots of vulnerable people as well who need care, but I think it's a good sign if you can look after animals well, whether they're stray animals or normal pets. It says a lot about your humanity. So
yeah, that's just
so we appreciate what Cactus has done, and very impressed with the amount of animals that they look after at their shelter. It's a fairly new organization, but we thank them for doing what they do.
And yeah, I hadn't really had any experience with them before. So when we first started the adoption process for Kaza, they came over and did a site visit and, made sure we were worthy parents.
Yes.
And I also chatted quite a bit with Jeanette, made sure we knew his medical history, what booster shots he needed, all that good stuff. Got his vaccination card, and she was really lovely, recommending, this place made dog beds for my dog, and just, she's very clued in, can be really helpful for whatever you need, whatever support you need if you are thinking about adopting.